It used to be that, you'd work for a company for 40 years, you'd retire, you'd get the gold watch, you'd get a pension and head out the door and go live your life with this steady stream of income, right? And so you would have that income from the pension, you'd have your social security, and you'd be golden. You were just set. You'd have those two streams of income built in, but that's really not the case anymore, right, Mike?
It is not the case because employers often do not provide pensions anymore. They have gone the way of the dodo or the dinosaur, right? But those who have pensions, Americans love their pensions, especially those who retired, in the last decade or two or three and are still alive. Those are defined benefit plans, okay? They offered secure, predictable income, and that provided that peace of mind in retirement for those who served those companies over the long haul, rather. And from the 50s to the 70s, pensions were prevalent. Okay, over half of the private sector employees were covered under a pension of some sort, and they provided also a sense of loyalty and a sense of security with lifetime payments based on the years of service as well as the salary that those folks had come into. But what we're seeing is that since the 1970s and the advent or the invent of this thing called the 401k, pensions are now disappearing. Companies are shifting the onus and the responsibility from themselves to what are known as defined contribution plans, which pushes all of the responsibility to the employees themselves. Okay. And these started back in the 1980s. The corporations then transitioned from pensions to 401ks. All right. And they did that to help reduce expenses and simplify plan management. But unlike pensions, 401ks shifted all of the responsibilities to you, the employees, to fund and to manage all of those retirement investments.
And I would have to venture to say that most people who are listening are not financial professionals. And so the fact that they are being relied upon to manage their own retirement investments, it can be overwhelming because there's a lot that goes into it. And there are, you and I both know that well, Mike, with all of the different classes and courses that we've taken over the years combined. I know you've taken more than I have at this point, but it's a lot that goes into it. And there are a lot of different decisions that need to be made. And so the fact that these corporations are, putting that responsibility on their employees is in some ways laughable. Something just very quickly here that is kind of a funny story about pensions. I actually have a pension because when I lived in New York for 10 years, before I moved back to my home state of Georgia here in the Atlanta area, when I lived in New York for 10 years, one of the companies that I worked for before it got bought out by another company offered a pension. And so for the year and a half, 2 years that I worked under the company A before company B bought it, I've got a pension for that time. And so every once in a while, when I want a good chuckle, I'll go online and check what my monthly payment is going to be in retirement. I'll get about $100 a month in retirement.
I was thinking it was going to be cents.
Yeah, it was a pretty good pension plan, but it's funny because by the time I retire, it probably with inflation, it probably will be worth what a couple of cents is worth today, $100 a month. So there's that. But they did exist, and they still do exist, but only for a small amount of people out there.
That's true. I mean, the declination, right? Pensions offerings via companies have been steadily declining since the 1980s as the companies shift the burden to their employees instead of taking it on for themselves. And so today, only 10% of private sector non-union workers actually have access to a pension plan, while 68% of them have access to a 401k or similar defined contribution plan like a 403b, or if you're a federal employee, a thrift savings plan. And that's, based on the latest from Investopedia. But public sector employment still offers pensions for many people, especially those in government roles. But even those are now under pressure due to funding issues, Matt.
Yeah. So the question then becomes, Mike, what do you do if you are one of our listeners who the chances are the majority are in this category here. If you are somebody who does not have a pension, what should you be doing to make sure that you are set when it comes time to retire?
Yeah, I think the main thing that people need to do is if your company offers any type of 401k, you need to contribute to it. But more than just contributing, you need to try to maximize your contributions. The IRS sets the limits each and every single year. And so for next year, if you're 49 or younger, you get $23,500 to put into your 401k. If you are 50 or older, or you're turning 50 in that year or older, then you get an extra 7,500. So next year you can do up to $31,000. Now, some of you listening may be going, well, man, I barely make more than $31,000. There's no way that I can do that, right? And I get it. But the ability to pay yourself first and the priority that you must make that is going to be paramount to your retirement success. So whatever you can do, do it. If your employer offers a match, at least contribute up to the match, but try to get to 15% and beyond, right? And then if you get a pay raise, guess what you can do? Instead of taking it home because you're already used to living on that, bump up your contribution to your 401k or thrift savings plan or 403b. Okay, that's the main thing. Just maximize your contributions. Okay. Number two, consider Roth accounts, because these accounts grow tax free, which means you're paying into the account with after tax dollars. You've already paid the piper, and so that money gets to grow tax free for the rest of its life, which can be extremely valuable for long-term retirement planning. And then number three, supplement your regular savings and your employer sponsored plans with an IRA, an individual retirement agreement. Both traditional as well as Roth IRAs offer tax advantaged growth, providing another retirement income stream. The more streams of income that you can have in retirement, the more successful your retirement is going to be. So if you have questions about any of those income sources for retirement, please reach out at 704-560-1573 or visit us on the web at moneymatterswithmike.com to help discuss, or so that I can help you see what your retirement strategies could be if you work with me.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And chances are you can improve that situation for whomever might be out there listening and saying, look, I'm having issues with, planning for retirement. I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel there. It's all a lot for me. I feel sort of overwhelmed. I don't quite understand. There's a lot that goes into it, as we've been saying. And so Mike Zano can help clear away those cobwebs for you and help you see that light at the end of the tunnel. Once again, moneymatterswithmike.com is the place to go.